apologies to everybody for taking so long for part 29 to come. My son was off from school this week. I have like a no filming policy while he's home because he's a pain in the ass. Like, he's a 6-year-old. He needs attention. There's no way I would be able to talk to you guys, concentrate and focus while he's home. But yeah, he was home from school for a week. You know, up here in New York, we had a holiday kind of deal thing going on. He's only going to be this age once, and then he's going to get old and hate me. Anyway, so I do want to get into episode 29. Let's get into this shit storm. Shit pops off at this point in time, guys. I left off in the last video telling you guys about the text fight that I had with my Aunt Debbie. I kind of added it as a note afterwards, but you know, she texted my husband and told my husband, "You better get my niece help." Who are you to even do that? You know, don't get yourself involved in my relationship. Like, you don't text my husband and tell my husband that I need mental help. The way she texted it, because I remembered this even after I was editing, she wrote to him, "You better get my niece help." Not even like, you know, "Oh, I'm concerned about my niece." There's a certain way to approach things, and she just never approached it right. Everything was always like, "You better do this, and you better keep it." Like, stop fucking talking to me like I'm your kid. You want to disrespect your own daughter like that? No problem. That's your business. But I'm somebody else's daughter, and my own mother didn't even talk to me like that. Like, just to make that clear. My mom had respect for me and talked to me like an adult, like a grown woman. My husband was 2 weeks away from his 40th birthday at this point in time. Don't talk to him like he's a child. You know what I'm saying? Tell him, "You better do this." Get that out of here with that shit. I'm really trying to stop cursing. That would include shit. So, alright. You know, I was just really upset with my Aunt Debbie at this point, and I just felt like, you know what? Do not talk to me about my brother and things that are going on with me and him, because clearly we don't see eye to eye on this. My Aunt Debbie would do these stupid things. Like, I would write a group message to the family, okay? My brother knows what's going on with my mom. Plus, he has me blocked on Facebook. Why would I put him on a group message if he has me blocked? I can't even see his page. But my Aunt Debbie would go and include him on the group message. I'm like, why? Why do you have to interject? You have control issues, Aunt Debbie, with everybody, not just me. You bully people in your office. You bully your daughter. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Okay, so now we're on October 29th. Saturday, October 29th. It was a pretty uneventful day. That day, I believe it was that day, I spoke to one of the nurses. One of my mom's favorite things in the world was to look at the fall foliage. Foliage, however you like to pronounce it. Just like me, fall's one of my favorite seasons. I like the cooler weather. I like, you know, the boots and the hoodies and everything like that. And my mom absolutely loved the fall. She loved the fall foliage. How do you say that word? Well, she was up on the 12th floor of this hospital, and the window had a beautiful view. And so I spoke to one of the nurses, and I was like, I really think it would help motivate my mom if we moved her over to the window side so that she could see, you know, out the window, because I feel like that would motivate her to get up and start, you know, trying to move. Because at this point in time, you guys, she was completely immobile. She was like literally using the bed to move. If she had to get up, like to sit up to eat, she would use the bed to raise herself up. She couldn't lift herself up like this. I was like, you know, maybe it'll motivate her to be by the window. So as soon as the lady left, the roommate that was there at the time, they moved her to the window side. And my mom was so happy. She had a beautiful view of Long Island, you know, out the window. It was like you could see all the trees and the different colors, and you know, I knew that was something my mom really enjoyed. Plus, I just felt like it was better for her sleeping wise, because when you're right next to the hallway and the nurse's station was like right near her room, it was just like noise. And you know, I was hoping that maybe being a little deeper in the room, you would have a little bit more privacy and quietness. And plus, like, you had the window, so you had that whole radiator area where people could kind of lean up and sit against, because there's really not much room. These rooms in this hospital were pretty small. If there was 3 people in there on the other side, it just felt very crowded because there was a closet, whatever. It doesn't matter. So that was one of the things that I did. Saturday and Sunday was pretty uneventful, so now we're on the 30th, the day before Halloween. Other thing that I have to mention, they put my mom on what's called palliative care, okay? I didn't know what that was. I never heard of it before. But the palliative care team wanted to have a meeting with the whole entire family. They wanted to talk to everybody together. The goal of palliative care is to basically, it's about symptom management and keeping the patient comfortable. You know, people when they have a really serious illness like cancer, that's what it's basically about. You know, it's just about controlling their symptoms with pain medications and, you know, if they're having anxiety or whatever. When I went home and read about this online, it was really scary because I was like, oh my God, this is looking like the next step is going to be hospice. And if you guys don't know what hospice is like basically the same thing. They're comforting you into death. The difference between palliative care and hospice basically is just that during palliative care, you're still being treated for your disease. When you go on hospice, you're not getting treatment, it's over, and basically what they're giving you is just medication to make you feel comfortable and maintain, you know, some type of quality of life. Palliative care is the same thing basically. And to go home and read about that, it was scary. At this point in time now, I'm starting to accept that things are not going well. I was trying to figure it out, you know, because again, nobody comes into the hospital room and they're like, oh, your mom's dying. Nobody says that to you. She just started taking chemotherapy drugs while she was in the hospital a few weeks before she passed. I mean, I don't know why that happened. You know, looking back now, that's my only regret was not going to those oncology appointments with her. No, as I was editing this, I started thinking to myself, why wasn't my mom receiving any kind of cancer treatment prior to when she was in the hospital? You know, 2 weeks before she passed away. I mean, really, it was prescribed to her about a month or two before she passed away. But she had been to the oncologist, you know, way earlier in the year. And I wonder why that doctor never prescribed her anything, you know, never gave her any type of chemo or anything. It was a different doctor than the one that I brought her to. I don't know, and I'm never going to get those answers because I don't know what my brother and my aunts, you know, who went to those first appointments. You know, my aunts went to the first appointment and my brother brought her for a second opinion at Sloan Kettering. And there was never any mention of a treatment at that point. So in my head, I just thought there was no treatment. And, you know, it's sad. It's something I wonder about. So the palliative care wanted to make an appointment with us, okay? My brother, of course, took the reins so he could control everything and made the appointment for Monday at whatever time. Again, it had to revolve around his schedule. Did he coordinate with me? No. Did he call me up and say, hey, Leanna, what's a good time for you? What's a good time that you don't have your son around? I just want to point this out, and I know I pointed this out in another video. My brother has a nanny, okay, that watches his kid. And Satan's mother also watches their kid. And they also had a 15-year-old daughter at their house. So they had plenty of people to watch their kid. At the same time, these people had a housekeeper. My house went into disarray because it got so out of control from me not being home, and I'm not organized to begin with. I understand he had a job. He had just started this job probably about 8 months before this, you know? So I understand you don't have that much time off, but you make sure that when you need time off to go on a vacation or do something fun, you have time off for that. He didn't even coordinate with me about this meeting. And I'm like, dude, like, I have a 3-year-old son and I have nobody to watch him. I had nobody. My in-laws don't live in New York. I do have some in-laws here, but they have their own kids and they got all tons of shit going on. My mom was really the only person that we have to watch my son, and she's in the hospital. So who the frick else is going to watch my son? My husband had to take off from work because he planned to meet these people that Monday, which was Halloween. I'm not bringing my son to this meeting. Like, this is an important meeting. Like, I don't need him mommy every 2 seconds. He's 3 years old. He's not gonna understand. Oh yeah, hey 3-year-old, could you just be quiet for 3 hours? No, that doesn't happen. You know, my brother has a young kid too, but you have a nanny. Did he offer to have his nanny watch my kid? No. Did he? Nothing. No, nothing. He didn't even coordinate with me. He just went and made the meeting for when it was convenient for him. Did not even ask me. So, fine. The meeting was set for that Monday. It's Sunday night. Meeting the next day for palliative care. The first time I'm going to talk to or see my brother. 12:30 at night. I was exhausted. I don't even think I could explain the level of exhaustion. I was not sleeping good during this time. I was so worried. Just constant worry. I can't even explain the worry I felt. Day and night. And all of a sudden, my mom calls me. I answer the phone and she's like, Betty? And I'm like, no, Ma, it's Leanna. She's like, oh, sorry. So I'm like, Mom, what's the matter? What's going on? Oh, nothing. I'm like, well, why do you think I was in Betty? She's like, I just wanted to call her and tell her something. And I'm thinking, like, at 12:30 at night? Like, she's not awake right now. My aunt and uncle are like one of those, they get up and fucking walk like 5 laps around the block. They're always like, hey, we're Betty and Bob, we're so happy and healthy. So I'm like, Mom, she's not awake right now. And my mom's like, oh, yeah. I just wanted to tell her something. And I'm thinking, like, what do you have to tell her at 12:30 at night? Like, I don't know. So I'm like, Mom, do you need me to come down to the hospital? Again, just a reminder, she's having these severe panic attacks and she kept thinking she was dying, So I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's not having another panic attack right now. She goes, do you have Aunt Betty's phone number? And I'm like, you have it. It's on your phone. She's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm like, Mom, are you all right? I'm like, you're scaring me. She's like, no, I'm fine. And I'm like sitting there thinking like, what the fuck is going on? Why doesn't she know my aunt's number? First of all, I know she has my aunt's number memorized. But second of all, like, she knows it's in her phone. And I'm like getting all confused now. I'm like, what the hell's going on? She's scaring the shit out of me. So I'm like, do you need me to come down? She's like, no, no, I'm fine. So I just got out of bed and started, put my shoes on. I'm in my pajamas. All my makeup's washed off. I don't give a freaking shit. I was just like, let me go. Put my boots on, start walking out the door. As I'm on the way to the hospital, I get a text from my mom. She texts me my Aunt Betty's phone number. And I'm thinking, dude, like, my mom would never call her at this time of night. Like, what the hell's going on? I don't know. I don't know if she was panicking and felt like she needed to tell her something, thinking that she was dying. I don't know. But regardless, I get down to the hospital, and thankfully by the time I got there, she was calmed down and everything. But I ended up staying there till like 3 o'clock in the morning that night because I'm like, she's scaring the shit out of me. All right, so I'm going to end this one here and come back in the next one. And I'm going to drop these at the same time because I don't want people to be like, what happens next? I'll be right back.